Coming up on UMTV News, federal immigration agents in Minnesota are now using body cameras. We'll tell you why this change comes as questions grow about whether these actions are legal.
Plus, we'll tell you how Bad Bunny's message to ICE is sparking reactions across the country.
And later on, a fast-growing sport is making a comeback, and Miami is at the center of it. We'll take you inside the largest paddle courts in the country and show how the game is getting new fans.
These stories and more ahead on UMTV News, and it starts right now. Good afternoon and welcome to UMTV News. Today is February 3rd and I'm Addison Block.
And I'm Gavin Bisho. Thank you for joining us. Breaking this afternoon, the U.S. House of Representatives has passed a bill to end the partial government shutdown. The partial government shutdown that lasted 4 days is officially over after a narrow vote on Capitol Hill this morning. Lawmakers passed a nearly $1 trillion bill by just 3 votes. The legislation funds 11 of the 12 spending bills through September 30th. The final piece, funding for the Department of Homeland Security, still needs to be worked out. Lawmakers have until February 13th to reach a deal. The bill is now headed to the White House, where the president is expected to sign it.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has announced that all DHS officers will be supplied with body-worn cameras. The announcement comes after federal law enforcement officers killed 2 people in Minneapolis. The 2 separate shootings last month of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, both killed by federal agents in Minneapolis, have sparked protests, legal fights, and calls for greater transparency in border protection operations. Noem says the body camera program will not stop in Minnesota. It will be expanded nationwide. In a press conference on Monday, President Trump defends Noem's decision.
Well, it wasn't my decision. I leave it to her. They generally tend to be good for law enforcement because people can't lie about what's happening. So it's generally speaking, I think 80% good for law enforcement. But if she wants to do that, I'm okay with it.
The Department of Homeland Security says the cameras will bring greater accountability to federal enforcement as Minneapolis remains under scrutiny following the deadly shootings.
On Sunday night, singer Bad Bunny accepted the Grammy for Best Album of the Year for his work called Debí Tira Más Fotos. The Puerto Rican singer made history, becoming the first artist to win Album of the Year with a fully Spanish album. And when he took the stage to accept his award, Bad Bunny opened his speech with a clear message: ICE out.
We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans and we are Americans.
Bad Bunny took home 2 more awards for his album, one for Best Musica Urbana Album and the other for Best Global Music Performance. And his wins don't stop there. He'll be singing the Super Bowl halftime show this Sunday.
President Donald Trump has announced plans to close the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. for about 2 years so the building can undergo extensive renovations. Trump said the tentative date for the closure will be on July 4th, which coincides with the 250th anniversary of the country's founding. He said the move is pending approval of the Kennedy Center's board. Those members were handpicked by the president. Trump also is chairman of the board. Nearly 2 months ago, the board voted to rename the arts institution the Trump Kennedy Center.
According to the census, Miami-Dade County is home to more than 250,000 of people with disabilities. And while there are plenty of organizations aimed at younger members of the community, that support often dwindles once they get older. Wrigley Court joins us live to introduce us to one Key Biscayne organization that is looking to change that. Wrigley?
High school and early adulthood can be a difficult time to make friends. That's especially true for teens and young adults with disabilities. I had the chance to meet with one group that's making sure no one feels alone. Ready? When Constantino Pena was just a high school freshman, he noticed a problem.
I thought that there weren't that many activities for teens with special needs. Once the person with special needs hits 18 or 19, it becomes hard to find different activities for them to do.
That realization led Pena to start the Social Saturdays program, a weekly event providing teens and young adults with disabilities the opportunity to engage in activities ranging from basketball to movie nights to, most recently, tennis. It's been 3 years since Pena started the program, and it's grown to include dozens of members. It's giving volunteers like Benito Zapata the opportunity to connect with the people they care about.
I got involved with this organization because of my little brother. Having this be an activity that I can do with him, having different exposure to a new activity, it's awesome.
Now a senior, Pena says he's created bonds that will last a lifetime.
During the week, one of the participants, his name is Andres, he'll text me like, Andres loves you, Andres loves you. And that is something that is just like mind-blowing to me. Being able to touch people like that has been crazy for me.
The program is part of It Takes a Village, a Key Biscayne organization dedicated to helping people of all ages with disabilities. A core tenet of the group's mission is promoting not just awareness, but acceptance.
These kids need to be seen in a different light. They're a lot more than what they actually seem. They're smart, they're amazing, they're funny, they're really great kids.
And with young people like Pena and Zapata leading the way, that more inclusive future feels just a little bit closer. To learn more about It Takes a Village and to get involved with its mission, you can visit their Instagram at @ItTakesAVillage_KB. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Wrigley Court.
Thanks, Wrigley. We're going to take a short break now, but coming up on UMTV News, we will have details on the cold temperatures sweeping the nation, including record-breaking lows right here in South Florida. And we'll tell you if the groundhog predicted more winter. After the break, we'll be right back.
A winter storm has brought record low temps and over a foot of snow into the southeast this past weekend. The storm swept across the entire region, spanning from North Carolina to South Florida. Many areas were forced to fight the freeze with limited resources.
Look at it snowing here.
A massive winter storm dropping historic snowfall across the southeast, causing treacherous travel conditions in multiple states.
We're continuing to ask those that don't need to travel to please stay at home.
Overnight into Sunday, portions of Interstate 85 in North Carolina were shut down. More than 100 drivers were stranded amid several crashes. The National Guard was called in to help, and hours later, the highway reopened. Snow totals in a few areas reaching well over a foot.
In eastern North Carolina, we don't have the equipment like other parts of the country that do see substantial amounts of snowfall.
This system grew into a bomb cyclone, also unleashing hurricane-force winds.
So there's one of those powerful wind gusts.
Many coastal communities worried about high tides and flooding.
This is a passing coastal low that always brings us concern about beachfront erosion.
The storm also plunging temperatures below freezing.
Most people aren't going out just because we don't even have the, gear, the coats and the gloves and stuff to handle being outside when it's this cold.
Crews using a blowtorch to melt this frozen water fountain in Virginia. Even Tampa, Florida, seeing snow flurries Sunday. The frigid cold is expected to linger across the south and east for several days. And if you could believe it, Miami saw temps in the 30s 2 days ago, setting records that once stood for over 100 years. Now, luckily for South Floridians, the cold thaws out today, with temps returning to the 70s by tomorrow afternoon. And speaking of the winter, the famous Puxatawny Phil emerged from his burrow yesterday and saw his shadow, declaring 6 more weeks of winter. The tradition began in 1887 after a small town in Pennsylvania set out to find a rodent to predict the weather. Puxatawny's current inner circle takes care of Phil throughout the year, and in 2024, Phil and his partner Phyllis welcomed 2 baby groundhogs named Sunny and Shadow.
Most of us know about pickleball, a racket sport that became trendy in a short period of time. But next up is paddle. The sport is slowly taking over South Florida and gaining major interest across the country. Luke Bell joins us live to tell us more. Luke?
Nowadays, everyone is looking for a hobby that allows them to stay fit
and be social. The Ultra Paddle Club in Little River might have the answer for anyone who's looking for both of those things.
What started as a niche sport is quickly turning into a social phenomenon across South Florida. At Ultra Paddle Club in Little River, paddle is drawing in players of all ages and skill levels and finding its way into Miami's active social culture. Often described as a cross between tennis and pickleball, paddle may sound familiar, but it plays by its own rules.
While the racket is different, it's flat, you don't have the strings. You have to be more reactive, more quick to the ball. You use the glass surrounding the court, which, is very tricky.
Like tennis, the objective is to hit the ball over the net and onto your opponent's side. But here's the twist. The ball can hit the walls and stay in play, meaning there's no true out of bounds. Points continue as long as the ball only bounces once before it's returned, keeping rallies fast, unpredictable, and exciting. And for many players, it's not just about the game. Like other casual paddle enthusiasts, Aurora Hetzel says the social side is what hooked her.
It's fun because you play doubles all the time, so you have this bond with your partner, and you meet other people all the time. I mean, I just started, so I haven't been in tournament yet, only doing a clinic, trying to improve my game.
For some, paddle has become more than a hobby. After growing up playing tennis, Coach Sofia Coiran picked up paddle during the COVID pandemic and never looked back.
When I went a couple years ago to Mexico, to the Panamericanos, and represent the USA. I had the chance to compete with amazing athletes around Latin America, so it was amazing. Yeah, it was a very good experience.
Paddle was invented in 1969 and has since grown to have over 30 million recreational players worldwide. Since COVID, the number of paddle courts built per year in the U.S. has nearly tripled. As paddle continues to gain momentum across the country, Sofia says she sees more than just a trend. She sees a future.
I'm very passionate about racket sports. Tennis is like my everything, my first love, but then I had like a second chance with paddle.
From casual players to coaches chasing a second act, the rise of paddle in Miami is about more than competition. It's about community. And at Ultra Paddle Club, this fast-growing sport is clearly here to stay.
And the paddle hype in Miami is about to get even bigger. Ultra Paddle Club is set to open up a new location in the Miami Midtown area. This comes as a $2 billion development called Midtown Park. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Luke Bell.
Thanks, Luke. The Miami men's basketball team hosted Cal Berkeley for the first time in program history on Saturday. Let's take a look at the highlights. In the first half, Miami down 2, but Shelton Henderson ties it up. Start and stop turnaround Jay. Later in the first half, Timo Malovitz leaves it up for Ernest Uday Jr. Climbs the ladder for the flush. Now Miami up 9 in the second half. Malik Renew up and under Canes into a double-digit lead, but Cal fights back down 1 in the final minute after a Renew block. DK Maniel Du with the putback gives Cal the win, 86-85.
And finally, entrepreneurial success is not easy to balance as a full-time college student, but one freshman at the University of Miami is proving it's possible. Honeyvale is the name of a student-run coffee shop that started as a passion project between two sisters last year. The coffee truck launched on the University of Miami's campus in February of 2025 and first gained traction through social media, word of mouth, and students looking for a healthier twist on coffee and baked goods. Within 1 year of opening the truck, its popularity turned into a second location in Miracle Mile, with hour-long lines out the door.
I think it's kind of surreal. It's kind of like it's crazy how fast it's grown, and I mean I've enjoyed every step of the way. Sometimes have been really hard, and some days have been awful. I think I've just enjoyed the process so much.
Despite the challenges, Regina says the success of Honeyvale has only motivated her to keep growing, proving big ideas can start right here on campus. You know, Gavin, I've actually had the chance to try Honeyvale, and it was so amazing. And the fact that a freshman started it is so beyond impressive to me.
Now, did you try it at Miracle Mile or at the truck on campus?
I tried it at Miracle Mile, which the line was insane. It was like an hour.
So at an hour long, I mean, we see a lot of student startups on campus. The truck, really cool, but to take that to its own location on Miracle Mile, really impressive stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And that's all the time we have on this edition of UMTV News. Thank you for joining us.
We'll be back next week, same place and same time. Have a good night.